Hello, everybody. Today we are talking about Saturn Mahadasha. This is ongoing class of Vimshottari Dasha Masterclass. Saturn is 19 years long. It is considered one of the most challenging dashas to deal with. However, it can make you very successful as well. So don't just look at the negative aspect of Saturn. So let us explore a little bit more. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and we are talking Saturn Mahadasha. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification, and also just to remind you that we have the classes beginning in March, and I'll be teaching live, and you can look all the details up on komilla.com. And also, you can sign up for my newsletter while you are there, because the newsletter gives monthly news as well as any other important news. And it is a very good resource for you. And the newsletter is free, so do sign up for it. And finally, I think I just want to tell you that this is my cell phone, I have this new store with YouTube. And this is really helping support my channel, because a lot of work is put into this channel. And if you get things from there, you are supporting me. So I thank you in advance. Just have a look at it. And there are sort of a lot of nice things there. So let us talk about Saturn Mahadasha. Let's look at the basics. It's 19 years long. And it is like you start, and then by the end of it, you're in a different age group totally. So it is regarded as the most challenging dasha, but actually it's not true. Saturn can be your great friend, and if you understand his principles and what he's trying to make you do. The main thing about Saturn is that he is regarded as the planet that deals with karma. Now, his karma is that he wants you to pay back your karma. Just like if you have taken a loan, you must pay it back. Now, in Saturn's case, the karma, something we owe somebody from previous lifetimes, from this lifetime, we don't know what it is. So, therefore, paying back our karma is very important during Saturn Dasha. And he makes you recognize. Sometimes people don't bother about it. Therefore, then he keeps on bothering you. The other most important thing is with Saturn is that we must develop patience and dharya, take things slowly, not be afraid of things, take things slowly. Don't try to get everything quickly, or don't try to cut through, truth, be truthful. Be careful. This is a dasha because Saturn, it will make you pay back your karma sometimes immediately. And whereas if you are careful and cautious and humble is very important for Shani. So being humble, not allowing your ego to be, getting out of control during Saturn. So I would say that if you are keeping that in mind, then Saturn will be easier to deal with. And one of the best remedies for Saturn Dasha is to work, do your job, take your responsibilities seriously. So these are things, often what happens is that clients will come to me and say, oh, I'm starting Saturn Dasha. Should I leave my job? I want to retire, or I just want to take it easy. And I always tell them, no, don't take it easy just now. It is really important that you should work hard and not think what results are coming. Think of your work as a remedy, because if you work, you'll earn, you'll support, you'll pay your taxes. To me, I'm always very fond of my Saturn Dasha, because that is what brought astrology to me. Lots of years was hard work, but actually without that, I wrote my first book during Saturn Dasha. I started my lecturing, going to different places. So all what I am today was kick-started in Saturn Dasha. And I never used to be very hardworking. I've always wanted to take the easy way out. But when I realized what Saturn stands for, and I was studying astrology and advising people, and then I thought, this is what is important. And I would say that this is my gift to you, that think about Saturn as a friend and take the responsibility. Then there are certain things you have to know. What is the dignity of Saturn? Is it exalted? Is it debilitated? Is it in friend's house, enemy's house? All those things are important, because a debilitated planet is, especially Saturn, is very angry and wants to do things quickly. So you have to slow down. Saturn in enemy sign can feel very aggravated. So, you have to see what is its quality in the chart. Then you want to see which houses he's placed. Dushtana 6, 8, and 12. Actually, 6th house is perfectly okay for Saturn. So 6th house is not a problem. 8th house can give some long-term health issues, so one has to be careful. 12th house is house of loss, so that is not easy. I think one of the other complicated areas of Saturn is the 1st house, because that is the Marana, Karaka, Sthana for Saturn. It's, you can have a strong Saturn in the 1st house, yet it is always like you're full of responsibility, duty. And if you follow the path of Saturn, then that is okay. Then Saturn, is it in conjunction, and especially malefic conjunctions of Saturn, Saturn Mars, Saturn Ketu, Saturn Rahu, even Saturn Sun. These are difficult energies, and therefore then their subdashas will be complicated, because you'll get 2 malefic planets, dasha, subdasha, and then the conjunction is also there. So you have to see that. And I would say that at the start of Saturn Dasha, one has to think about what are the remedies that I want to do and how to deal with it. One of the main yogas for Saturn in the chart can be the Sasha Mahapurusha yoga. If you have Saturn in Capricorn, Aquarius, or Libra, and it is in Kendra house, then you get Sasha Mahapurusha yoga. There are other yogas as well you can look up. But despite yogas, despite being strong, what you have to recognize is that Saturn is Saturn. Therefore, he's going to bring some responsibilities, duties, paying back of old karma. So therefore, if you are going into Saturn Dasha, you are already being careful about it. Then what about the sub-periods? The sub-periods are called either Bhukti or Antara. So first thing you want to do is you turn the chart around to see which planets are in a challenging position to Saturn. So those dashas, even though Saturn may be friends with them or good from the ascendant or moon, they can be complicated. Also, when you are analyzing Saturn, you don't just look at it from the Lagna position, look at it from moon sign as well, sun sign as well. You can look at the 3 points of view. If you want to go more advanced, you can look at where Saturn is from Atma Karaka. Of course, if Saturn is Atma Karaka, it becomes a very important dasha. So, as we go into the first dasha bhukti is Saturn, Saturn. Actually, what I said in my Jupiter video, I spoke about the Jupiter Rahu, which is the last period, has to be taken carefully, because your next dasha is Saturn, Saturn. So Saturn, Saturn sometimes can be like a big shock, because suddenly the rules have changed after the benefic energy of Jupiter. We are coming to this much more stringent, dogmatic, giving us rule Saturn. But I think if we are aware that we have come into Saturn, then we know that now the rules are different. That's the advantage of astrology. You know the rules are different. And Saturn is telling you that you have to, now for the next 19 years, there are different rules, and there are Saturn's rules. So as I said, working hard, being responsible, taking things slowly, truthful, humble, all those things are there that you have to think about, and think about what remedies you're going to do for Saturn. So start doing some donation, some mantra practice, karma yoga, selfless service. All this has to be at the start, Saturn, Saturn. Then we go to Saturn Mercury. Actually, Saturn is quite a few years long, over 2.5 years, almost 3 years. The Saturn Mercury comes, it's a big relief because Mercury gives a lightness. Mercury is youthful, it's more fun, it gives a much easier energy. And Mercury is friends to Saturn. So generally, you will find this is much easier sub-period to experience. Then we come to Saturn Ketu. Saturn Ketu is not the easiest energy. However, I started my astrology during Saturn Ketu. So I have very fond memories because when Ketu came, I was just obsessed. I started working full time with astrology. I gave up my more material life. So I found that quite good. Of course, Saturn is well placed in my chart and Ketu is also. So you have to see from Saturn's point of view where Ketu is. But Ketu is always not material, spiritual energy. So if you're trying to achieve material success, Ketu can give it to you. However, that's not Ketu's main aspect. So be conscious of that. And also be conscious of rejecting everything, seeking unrealistic idealism. It is better to think about, more spiritual stuff, as I said before. Saturn, Venus. Saturn and Venus are friends to each other. They're good energy. However, Saturn, Venus is saying that there's always some big change in Saturn, Venus. I think it's because Saturn meets Guru Venus for Shani. Shukracharya is the guru that he learned from. In fact, Brihaspati, the Jupiter energy, did not give him knowledge. So Shukracharya gave him knowledge. So I feel that Saturn Venus comes, there's some knowledge gained for Saturn. And therefore, he changes his attitude, changes the energy. So always you'll see it's a 3-year period, Saturn Venus, that some fundamental changes take place in your life. They don't have to be negative changes, but they are changes. And then we come to Saturn Sun. Now, Saturn Sun, they are not friendly with each other at all. Saturn is the child of Surya, and Saturn is quite resentful. So Saturn Sun can be a complex dasha. However, even in these complex dashas, you have to see where Sun is placed from Saturn. If he's well placed, this can be a good period for you. Saturn, Moon. They are, of course, Moon is more emotional, Saturn is more cold, distant. So this dasha can be more complicated, and you want some nurturing emotions, and have a Saturn, there's a conflict in that. So you have to pay attention to the sub-period lord. That's what you're looking for at the time. Your overall dasha is your dasha, but what is your Bhukti ruler? That is important for the time being. So look at what houses Moon rules from the Lagna, from Saturn itself, and how well it is placed to know what the dasha is going to be. Then Saturn, Mars, now there are again 2 malefics. So whenever the dashas of 2 malefics are, we are always taking caution. However, Mars gets exalted in Saturn's sign, Capricorn. So disciplining yourself, not taking impulsive action, that is important. But Saturn gets debilitated in Aries. So Mars can sometimes make you too impulsive, wanting to do things, and whereas caution may be better, or careful, sober life may be better. So these 2 malefics can be very demanding. It can be frustrating, push and pull. So you have to, see how well you can deal with it. Then Saturn Rahu. So this is the only time when 2 subdashas both belong to malefics. So Saturn Rahu. Now, Rahu Vat Shani. Rahu acts like Saturn. They are very determined, both of them. However, both of them are malefic. So they can be very intense. You can feel very dissatisfied. You can feel in a hurry to do things. You want to complete everything, and Rahu is pushing you. And with Rahu, you're always trying to restrict and keep it contained. And it's very psychological, and Saturn is very realistic. And so it can be confusing. However, it can also be very exciting. You're traveling a lot. Saturn makes you travel as well. And Rahu also makes you travel. So you can be traveling, doing things, depending on how Saturn and Rahu are placed in your chart. And then we come to the final dasha, Saturn Jupiter. Again, after Rahu, Mars and Rahu, Jupiter is much easier, but it's a Chitra dasha. That means that now Saturn is coming to an end. And I would say there are two important points here. Firstly, it's like culmination of your Saturn dasha. So there can be some gifts there, some things that are ending. And there's also the thinking, I want to change, I want to move to a different energy. And the best news is that 19 years of Saturn is coming to an end, and Mercury is a much easier planet to deal with. And Mercury is more youthful, more fun-loving. So the end is, it's very optimistic. However, you have to always be careful at the end of the dasha, because you're still thinking in a Saturn mode. You're not thinking about the new energy. So that is really important, that you don't make decisions at that time. Wait for the new dasha to come. However, it is an optimistic time. You will be feeling the need to make changes. It's only better to wait for the changes. So as we look at the remedies for Saturn, what is important is that a remedy for Saturn is very necessary. First and most important remedy is patience. Second is truthfulness. Third is working hard, taking your responsibility, because Saturn wants you to pay karma, back your karma. So how do you pay back your karma? Taking your responsibility, keeping your job, paying your bills, not having too grand plans, and also karma yoga. Selfless service, giving back to society. Karma yoga is excellent remedy for everybody. But for Shani, he's even strong. That means you're doing things without expectation of reward. And also during Saturn Dasha, you may be getting Sarasati, you may be getting other Saturn transits as well. So all this is extremely useful for you. Saturn, there are a number of temples for Saturn that you can visit. There is Thirunallar in Tamil Nadu that people go and visit for Saturn. Lord Shiva is the deity for Saturn. I would say doing things, selfless service to the elderly and the poor, and giving food to the poor and elderly. This is one of the best remedies for Saturn. And every year you should have a plan. Don't think, this is 1 year, that is enough. Regularly, donation, food donation, clothes donation, giving to elderly, poor, looking after your elderly relatives, parents, all that is very good remedy for Saturn. And you can do the mantra for Saturn. Om Shaniye Namaha. Om Shaniye Namaha. Om Shaniye Namaha. Also to Saturn, the mantra Om Triambaka Mahamrityunjay mantra was given to Lord Saturn by Shukracharya. And you can do that as well. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshi Amamritan. I actually did a separate video on this mantra. I'll put a link here that you can check that out, and that will be good. I would say that most important thing about having a good Saturn Dasha is that you have a wide range of remedies you're doing for Saturn. And it's not about spending money. It is about self-effort. My Guruji used to say, for Shani, you have to give yourself and to not expect anything in return. And it can be a wonderful dasha for you, like it was for me as well. So all the best. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Thank you.